All right. We have returned, as promised. And now, we get to talk about Spider-Man and the Joker again.
Again.
Because why not? Well, let's get into it. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Mellis Baldwin, and I'm currently in line at Chick-fil-A.
Yes, he is. Welcome to Micah and The Hatman, live. All right. Before we get started, and I go into my pick of the week, some of you will notice that there is a donation ticker down at the bottom. For those who missed the last podcast, I'll just let you know. Basically, my artist for my next book, Preston Acevedo, his dog passed away today. So I wanted to do something nice for him and see if we as a community could raise some money to get him some more art supplies so that he can keep working on the stuff that he's best at. So if you guys would please consider doing so, donate in the link below, because stuff like this does not come cheap, so it would be very much appreciated. So let's go ahead and get into topics. That's the intro button. So I guess I'm going first.
Yep, because I've got to place an order.
Yep. So, Sea of Thieves.
Ooh.
Yeah. This has actually been my pick of the week. I've been playing it for the last few days with Brainbox, one of our mods. And Hatman needs to join me on this at some point, too. So I can yell at him and call him a scurvy dog. Yarr. But Sea of Thieves, I've been playing it on PC. It's a Game Pass game. And it's about a year after the game was released. And since then, they have gone through 2 different expansions. And the early game, from what I saw of it, kind of would run out of steam a little quickly. The reason being is that there wasn't much to it. There was the ships. There were missions you could do. It's basically kind of like an MMO. And there were, and the sailing itself was really cool from what I saw. But it would kind of wear out its welcome a little bit too fast because the only thing you could really do is grief people, in the long run, and then sell their stuff to buy more stuff. Well, now they've added more to it. There's, what was in the launch was the Kraken. So there is a Kraken that will snag your ship in the middle of the ocean. They've also added megalodons. And on top of that, now the seas are haunted with ghost ships that you can get into fights with. Needless to say, they actually made the seas a threat. More so. Like, instead of just worrying about the Kraken, you have to worry about everything. Everything. And that is what I'm really, really liking about it, is every time that we set sail, there is some sort of a threat that we have to worry about. And I really, really love that type of a game. What the hell is a megalodon? A giant shark.
Yes, an ancient shark. Like, those actually existed.
Yes. So, and there's different kinds. One of them is a haunted one.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So, Ghost Megalodon is a thing in this video game. Or Zombie Megalodon.
So what you're saying is Sea of Thieves is actually a sci-fi original movie.
Pretty much, yeah. But also a really fun video game. So, I've been playing this quite a bit lately. The amount of fun in it is just surprising to me. Like, there are... first off, just piloting the ship is literally a multi-man job. You especially when you have the bigger ships, the galleons and stuff like that. Ooh, just got another donation from Ricky Joya. Much appreciated, Ricky, for sure. Let's see what he says here. Says here, Preston. Well, thank you, Ricky. Much appreciated. So the My brain's not working. But the big thing for me was just finally making the seas a bigger threat. You know, having more PvE elements to the seas themselves. That was like one of my biggest gripes, oddly enough, with like Wind Waker. Was the only threats were on the islands, you know? But in this, even the sea that itself can be a threat. Because sometimes you'll have to go through a storm. And they're very hard to maneuver through. And your ship can take on a lot of water if you're not watching it. Like, it's really, really cool. The multiplayer elements, now the PvP stuff, actually can be interesting and can have levels to them. For example, one that was really cool was we were at port. We had just destroyed a ghost pirate ship, and we had just escaped a megalodon, just barely. Like, both were in the water simultaneously. And what happened next was we docked at port to go ahead and sell off some of the stuff that we had. Well, there was another ship in the vicinity who had been watching the fights that we were in, and he'd been tailing us for a while. It was just one guy. So what he does while we are at port is he drops a gunpowder barrel on our ship, destroys the mast. Now, we've already offloaded everything and sold it. All we have in there are just extra supplies, and we're low on ammo, too, so if he tried to plunder, there wouldn't be much. So, Brainbox delays him by just trying to patch the ship up and keep it there as he fires at it with a cannon. I go under the water, swim underneath his ship, climb up on the opposite side, walk up to him slowly, place a blunderbuss to the back of his head, and pull the trigger. Then I go beneath deck, and I steal all his treasure, go off, and sell it before he can respawn.
Jesus.
And then so our ship sinks, which is fine. We didn't have anything left on it. But the last thing he sees as he runs the hell away from us is me, Captain Micah, sitting on the dock, dancing and having a laugh at his arse. It was awesome. It was hilarious because I'm just sitting there literally on the dock as he's running away from me, just dancing because I stole all of his shit. So,
Jesus.
'Twas very piratey.
Just a bit. That accent though was terrible.
Fuck you. Ever gaze upon the green flash, Mr. Gibbs. I don't know why I like that line so much. But anyway, needless to say, now it is a very, very fun game. Probably and you sound more like a Scotsman. There were Scottish pirates. But anyway, or at least I'd like to think there would be. But needless to say, it was incredibly fun. I'm probably going to play more of it tonight with Brain and anybody else on the patron server who has the game and wants to play it. Speaking of which, and we will be announcing this a little bit more formally later on, is we're going to be rehashing the whole patrons thing, and we're going to basically make it to where we're going to have a weekly game night. And we're going to mostly focus on Games Pass games, so if you are an Xbox One owner, you can join us. It's basically stuff with crossplay. PC. Yeah, exactly. So, something to keep in mind. But yeah, needless to say, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm going to keep playing it probably until I get sick of it. So, and it's free on Games Pass. What else is there?
There you go.
All right. Hatman, do you have your food?
I do have my food, yes.
Okay, go over your pick.
So, I got Chick-fil-A, which distinctly is not wings. But, yeah, I've been craving wings for a while, and for some reason I just haven't been able to get around to eating them. So I did the next best thing. I watched YouTube. Specifically, I binged a series that you guys would probably know called Hot Ones. And Hot Ones is, for those who aren't aware, a show where they bring on celebrities to interview while eating wings that get progressively hotter. And by progressively hotter, I mean like the hottest one cracks 1,000,000 on the Scoville scale. And that is pretty damn hot, just so y'all know.
We're talking Carolina Reaper here.
Uh, yeah, easily Carolina Reaper level. And I've had a Carolina Reaper before. Those things, well, first off, they suck because they don't have much flavor. They just taste like bell peppers, like red bell peppers. But they will leave your mouth burning for like half hour to an hour after eating them. It's, yeah, they have heat, absolutely. So anyway, hot ones, good show. Like I'm surprised at the quality of the interviews. Like I forget what the dude's name is. Chat is gonna of course correct me, and I can't read chat, so I can't give y'all credit for it. But the guy who does the interviews like does his research diligently beforehand. Like he knows exactly what to bring up, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard the celebrities say, "Hey, that's a really good question," and like you don't really hear that in other situations where they're being interviewed. So it's actually a quality show beyond just being not really a meme, but I guess a novelty sort of thing. So yeah, I'm on board for that, but also because of the reactions from people. Like that's of course why you want to watch it. Like for example, the Gordon Ramsay episode. You'd think a man like Gordon Ramsay would be like picking apart, all the ingredients in these hot sauces, or bitching about the quality of the wings, which he did, of course.
Yeah.
But the whole time, like he's swearing and like drowning himself in Pepto-Bismol, and he's like eating a dozen donuts and shit. Just he's barely able to answer questions and go, "Oh fuck me," this is what the fuck is this? Jesus Christ, that sort of thing. And yes, I know my accent is even worse than Micah's, so I have no room to complain anymore.
Nope.
But nope. But anyway, no, it's funny for that. Like the faces that Shaq would make. Fuck, who was it? Stone Cold Steve Austin being able to take it all and not break a sweat.
Well, yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. Like it's a good interview show, but at the same time, like you get to see, some of your favorite people either losing their minds or like confirmed as being badasses. And holy shit, like that's hilarious. They just started season 10, I believe, with Shia LaBeouf, and that was actually really good, even though they didn't bring up the capture the flag incidents. And Ashton Kutcher was just on recently too, and his was pretty all right, but I was never a huge Ashton Kutcher fan. Like I never got into Punk'd or anything years ago when it was still on. But
no love for Dude, Where's My Car?
Okay, Dude, Where's My Car is one of those movies that people know, but then they forget.
For good reason. It wasn't very good.
In my experience, like they know the movie, but they forget what the hell happened in it, except for like Dude's Sweet. Yeah. But anyway, and I guess that 70s show too, but I never watched that show. Well, I can't say I never watched it. I did watch some That 70s Show, but I was never a huge fan of it. But anyway, no, it's a really good show. Y'all should check it out. Like you'd be surprised at the people that they got on there. Like Idris Elba, Scarlett Johansson, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Weird Al Yankovic. I am constantly shocked by all the people that have managed to get on a YouTube show about eating hot wings. And of course, I'm still craving some fucking hot wings.
Yeah, the one thing that I take comfort in, I can have wings on keto. There
Are
was
you
actually
limited by any sauces though?
basically I could have barbecue sauce, but that's like my carbs for the day
Mm.
and my sugar intake for the day.
But like any hot sauces or anything at all?
I'm more of just a straight barbecue sauce guy.
Fair enough.
I like buffalo on occasion,
Fair
but
enough.
I gotta have Pepsi with it. Though
Fair
apparently now
enough.
sugar-free Pepsi is a thing. And apparently it's not half bad as long as you keep it ice cold. Then again, the same thing can be said of beer.
Yeah.
But here's the real kicker. Whiskey is keto friendly.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Alright, let's hit the topics.
All right.
So,
I like crunching, munching my foods.
guess who's back? Back again. Spidey's back. Tell a friend. Yeah, Spider-Man, oddly enough, is now back in the MCU. So, Sony and Disney have reached a deal, which is interesting. And
But the details of the deal are interesting, or that they managed to reach a
the
deal.
fact that it reached, yeah.
I'm surprised at the details of it. Disney gets 25% gross and the merchandising rights still.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that that Sony would give them that, but I guess I can't help but wonder if there was another level to the deal that we just don't know about or hasn't been made public yet, because that's really like the only bits of it that have come out. They announced specifically a date for the third Spider-Man movie, and that's July of 2021. Now, Micah, when does Venom come out?
Next year.
So here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the deal included the rights to use Venom or somehow cross over Sony's other Spider-Man properties that they're trying to put on film into the MCU.
I would think that would be a wise idea for the MCU side of things. So you and I have
I
talked
think
about
so,
this
too.
at length, and I think that I think that this is interesting. After the rumors came out that Disney doesn't have as much faith in Brie Larson as they did before, that they actually were still pursuing this behind the scenes. I legitimately thought that they were stupid enough to think that Brie Larson is still a moneymaker and that they can ride her into the sunset instead of Tom Holland. The problem is that everything that goes Captain Marvel is trending down. Everything with Spider-Man has been trending up.
Yep, because Tom Holland is insanely popular as Spider-Man. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, people like him. People don't like Brie Larson at all.
Yeah. And not to mention, he said that he was willing to play Spider-Man until the day he drops dead.
Yeah.
So he's in it for the long haul.
So it's interesting to me. I think in a sense that it almost confirms the rumors about the whole Brie Larson thing. Why pursue this deal where you're not getting 100% of the revenue, and you still have to deal with Sony, you still have to deal with all these people that you acted like you didn't want to deal with to keep this character in this cinematic universe? I think it's very simple. He is easily the most popular of the three beyond the films. You know, everything Spider-Man does well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Into the Spider-Verse, which has no ties to the MCU, was really popular. Won an Oscar, for God's sake.
It did.
Um,
It did.
So as it stands, I look at that and I go, you know, they have managed between Sony and Marvel Studios have managed to take this character that people actually were legitimately not interested in seeing on films after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and now they're able to do something with him, and now he's a franchise. You know? I don't think that I think that it's true. I don't think that Disney has that much faith in Brie Larson when it comes to her as Captain Marvel. I think that now there is probably some truth to the rumors that they wanted to have Tom Holland and have Spider-Man in Captain Marvel movies to try to make her seem more human. But let's be honest. Basically what they're saying is we want to have Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Captain Marvel movies so that people will actually go watch Captain Marvel movies after this first one. Because, yeah, Captain Marvel made $1 billion
I still don't know
in theaters,
if I believe that rumor.
There's no confirmation, but I think that there's probably some truth there at this point. And even though it made $1 billion, the DVD and digital download trends are trash. They're very much below what they were wanting, So.
Oh yeah. They're awful.
Yep. Brian Gilmartin says, so they want Carol to leech off of Spider-Man. Pretty much, yeah. So, but like you and I have said, you keep Spider-Man, you're going to make another $1 billion. You make a Spider-Man and Venom movie, or even do Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage, you could make Avengers money. Like, I don't know if you'd make Endgame money, but you'd probably make huge money off of it. You'd make Black Panther money.
Infinity War money, probably.
Yeah.
Black Panther money, too, yeah.
Yeah, it would be huge. Because you've got Tom Holland, got Tom Hardy, got Woody Harrelson as Carnage. It would be insane. And then I would say if Andy Serkis does a great job directing the movie, Venom 2, have him direct that too. Like, that would be just insane. Because the big thing that I think that Marvel's going to probably have to realize is that the true blue fans, when it came to like this news and other stuff like that, they wanted Spider-Man to stick around. You've got some people out there that, I don't like Iron Boy. Okay, we get it. Enough. You don't speak for everyone. The fact is that people do like this character because he's one of those popular comic book characters of all time. He's right behind Batman and Superman. But Marvel is going to need big time franchise players. And I don't have that much faith. I don't think they have that much faith in Captain Marvel. They obviously have faith in Black Panther, but sometimes I wonder if there's like a racial novelty to Black Panther that's not going to last forever. Because you're going to have the social justice types who are going to think that they need to constantly have some sort of social justice message injected into Black Panther. And Black Panther, I don't think Ryan Coogler's interested in that. So
I don't think he is. I think he would be even construed as social justice that he's put into his movies.
Yeah. So going forward, what I think we can look forward to, I think that more than likely the next Spider-Man will probably be a good movie. I think that the next Guardians is probably going to be a huge hit too. That's the one where it's rumored they're bringing in Beta Ray Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also rumored as to why that Beta Ray Bill is now a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics now. And one thing to answer Octus Whisper, Killmonger's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
They did give him all the social justice narratives. And he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think
I said, it's about rejecting those extremist narratives.
Exactly. There's 0 things that the heroes of the film that Killmonger says that they adopt. Instead, they say, okay, well, we can't be as isolationist anymore, but we're not going to go around and start killing everyone, which is what Killmonger wanted. Killmonger was Black Lives Matter, the character.
Yeah.
And just as evil.
Pretty explicitly.
Yeah. And he doesn't get treated like he's right by the fans either. They he gets treated like he's right by The Root, that website. You know, he gets treated like he's right by the social justice people who pirated the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not what normal people think. Most normal people, you know, well, most women just think that Michael B. Jordan was hot in that movie, and then most men are like, yeah, he's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great villain. His motivations are interesting for a villain, but he's a bad. You know, it's like there's a reason they treated him as evil as he was. So, but needless to say, though, I think that this is probably a good move for Marvel to finally, give up on this, because I don't really think the MCU was looking that good going forward. They need Spider-Man. So,
no, yeah.
All right, let's move on. So, we live in a society.
Bottom text.
Thank you. And I just did a video about the Joker silliness. That this supposed worry about incels is a giant hoax. And now the creators are standing up to the press. Meaning, there's going to be 0 journalists on the red carpet of Joker. Just photographers.
Good.
The director of the film has been recently seen as calling out the radical left for being moral busybodies.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I said this on Twitter and I'll say it again here, is that this whole panic about the Joker has been it sounds like something the Joker would do to society. Get everybody stirred up about something that's not going to happen, even to the point where the army issues a statement. And then laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it inevitably be stopped by Batman. Samurai Bear donates $2, says, how would having Carol partner with Peter even work on the scales of hero? Peter's neighborhood, Carol should be cosmic. Also, Miss Politics, did anyone ask about the 5-year, how became a sec officer? Oh, how the 5-year-old became a sex offender, if not opinion. Somebody did ask about that, so we're going to do that on Overflow. And thank you for donating, by the way. We're still a bit away from the goal, guys, for to help Preston out with those supplies and stuff. So if you could, please do consider donating. I don't have much of a response except for just playing this audio clip. That just Mark Hamill laughing is my only response, really. Like seriously, what the fuck is going on here? But here's the good thing about this. This has been very much needed for a while in Hollywood. And for creators in general.
Yeah.
Is for artists to stand up to the press instead of giving in to them.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the artists. I mean, Warner Brothers, the studio itself, stood up against this manufactured outrage. That's saying something.
And that's something that needs to happen more and more often, is for people to stand up to the press. Because the press has power, and they want to use it over you. They want to cancel you.
Yes.
So, hey man, what do you think about all this? Because you've gotten oddly quiet.
Well, I thought I got dropped off, or my signal got dropped off, or something.
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. Um, no, I think it's just ridiculous. Like like I said, it's manufactured outrage. I mean, where they're even getting this idea that it's going to inspire like mass shooters, I don't understand it unless they're trying to pull from the fuckface who shot up the theater in Aurora when The Dark Knight Rises came out. I mean, there was that popular story going around that he was dressed up as the Joker. He took influence from the Joker, but that was actually fake fucking news. There's nothing showing that he took inspiration from the Joker or was dressed as him. Like, he dyed his hair orange or some shit. Even like, that's definitely not the Joker colors.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but that orange is not green. So I don't know. It seems like trying to create some kind of a panic to get clicks, and that's why I say this is manufactured at its core, because it is total bullshit. And I'm glad that instead of trying to apologize and say, "Oh, we'll do better," or otherwise kowtow, everybody who is a part of this film is telling the press to go fuck themselves. That they're trying to profit off of panic. So fuck them.
And this is generally just my thought. It's like you have people out there that are like the Rich Johnstons of the world, who constantly try to do this sort of thing and try to destroy people because they don't create anything. And I mean, this isn't even just the press, it's people in general, that they don't create anything and they feel the need to destroy people who do to make themselves feel better. It's like, maybe just do something constructive instead of being so fucking miserable all the time. Or maybe support the people you like instead of trying to destroy the people you don't. Because like I always say, there's always people out there that could use people's help to get to the next level that just aren't being considered by people for one reason or another, because they're too focused on destroying something and they're not focused on actually doing something greater or being a part of it, and helping people who are trying to do that. Like, it's disgusting to me.
I suppose for them it's easier way out.
You might want to say that again because you kind of blanked out there.
Oh, cut out. I said, suppose for them it's easier to destroy than it is to build, and they just would rather take the path of least resistance.
Yeah. And because
though ironically they create a lot of resistance in destroying.
Yeah. But because we had Robo Hatman, this must be played. For the load. Anyway, so,
case you couldn't understand, I was speaking technology.
Yes. So, the this one you told me about, so I'm gonna let you take lead on it. What's this Fallout 76 recall that's going on?
So, the limited edition power armor helmet that came with Fallout 76, or
Yeah,
those special editions of Fallout 76.
yeah.
Yeah, so apparently they're being recalled now because of a mold risk.
Oh dear God.
It's something like 20 or 30,000 of them being recalled for literal mold. So, how much further is this game going to sink?
I don't know. I mean, when I played it for free, it wasn't half bad, but they've also like patched it beyond patching at this point. So,
I'm pretty sure you can't patch
not mold.
fucking mold.
No. So this is pretty ridiculous because there are so many bits of like just stuff that they gave in the special edition of this, and admittedly I'm a big fan of like the design of the T-51B helmet, but and wouldn't mind having one somewhere here in the office, but if it's a mold risk, no thank you.
Nope.
Yeah, this is probably one of Bethesda's biggest cock-ups, I think, that has ever been seen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This easily beats out the bags issue, where the quality of the bag that was received was not the quality advertised, because of course you got to cut corners and shit. And now your helmets cause mold. I mean, what next? Like the Fallout 76 discs are going to permanently damage your consoles?
Yeah, this thing kind of feels cursed at this point. So,
It really does. It really does. So I guess Bethesda, uh, get back to working on Elder Scrolls 6. And I swear to God, if it ends up being a buggy fucking mess on day one, sort of like how Skyrim was a buggy fucking mess on day one, you are just going to get trashed incessantly by the internet. Like
yeah.
there will be no recourse for you.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit for Bethesda definitely to rebuild any goodwill that they built up over the last few games before 76. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's go ahead and move into the Q&A.
Doing a little bit early this time.
Yeah, well, just about a minute early. But the one quick thing, one more time for those of you who missed it. The supplies are needed thing is a donation goal. I'm trying to raise some money for my artist on my next book, Preston. He lost his dog, and on top of that, he's running not lost, like the dog has passed away, and he is running low on funds and low on supplies to continue working on stuff. So I wanted to basically, get the community together, see if we can do something for him. So this is basically it. If one of the mods wouldn't mind, please go ahead and paste the donation link in the chat for people if they would like to donate. And that would be very much appreciated, so we can help him out. So, because things like this, like drawing pads and things like that, are expensive. They cost like $25 each, and I'd like to get him a few. So that's why the goal is as high as it is. So, so if you guys would do that, we would greatly appreciate it. So, all right, let's go ahead and move into.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Yes, you are. You're good.
Okay, good.
So, let's go ahead and hit the questions first from our patrons Discord. Alistair asks, any ideas on how you would write a Star Wars comic about a Jedi surviving in a galaxy post-Order 66? I don't really know if there's any territory that I could do there that hasn't already been treaded by everyone else. I'd have to think about that a lot more. And oddly enough, like if there was one way I would do it, it seems like the basics of it they're kind of hitting
Yeah.
with the upcoming game that they're doing, with the kid who played the Joker in Gotham. Um, so because basically that's what I would think a Jedi would do is you would disappear into society, hide your abilities, and just work a day job, and try to stay out of the way. But then of course, being the Force being what it is, it's going to drag you into the conflict at some point. So that's my thoughts anyway. Hatman, what do you think? Hatman? I think Hatman died. Alright, R.I.P. Hatman. Let's go ahead and answer the rest of these questions then. Zion the Blank wants to know, on this installment of the things I'm reading, Divine Comedy, ever read it? Your thoughts? Read it in college. Pretty interesting. I'll definitely be using some elements of it in my future writing, that's for sure. But yeah, I like Dante Alighieri's, hell, basically. The thing about it is that it's a political piece. It's not really a theological piece. If you go back and read it and you look at some of the names that he mentions, it's a political piece. We'll just put it that way. That's what makes it so interesting. Chaos Sonic wants to know, sorry I missed the Q&A past weeks, but thoughts on Marvel 2099 on Disney Plus? I don't know. It could be interesting. I wouldn't be against watching like a Spider-Man 2099 animated series. I'd be all over that. But that and Ghost Rider are like the only 2099 series that I ever really enjoyed. So.
Christ, I keep dropping out.
Let's see, are you alive again?
Yeah, I hope so. I think my phone is overheating.
That's odd.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but that's not good.
No. Well, let's keep going, just because. I think that's it for the Discord server. So let's go ahead and move on to the chat. Koopa's Revenge Home wants to know, favorite fast food that isn't Chick-fil-A?
Oh, damn. Because I was going to say Chick-fil-A. I'm a big fan of Wendy's and Dairy Queen.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. Dairy Queen's chicken strip baskets are great.
Oh, yes. Especially with that gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good.
And then,
apparently, though, Texas Dairy Queen is different than everywhere else Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
so I have to have Texas Dairy Queen.
Yeah, I didn't have it when I was down there, so I can't really speak to that. All I know is Whataburger's awesome. Let's see here. But yeah, like I love a good fucking cookie dough blizzard, man. Oh, why am I on keto again? Let's see what else we got here. Leonardo Juan wants to know, as a writer, how do you make an entertaining story while also adding politics? I don't. Here's the thing about writing, and this is something people don't understand. You can't add politics. Like, just add it, like, as a mental idea, and think that it's immediately going to make the story better or worse. If anything, it will make it worse because that's your focus. If you have a concept and you want to make a story that's based around a concept that happens to be political, that's a little different because the story is going to be about these characters that are affected by the concept, not the concept. It's, you're not shoving a message onto people. It's not propaganda, basically. If you
it has to make sense within the context of the story.
Yeah, if you just hammer it in there, it's propaganda. You might as well be writing for Der Stürmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be a big part of the story, or and it can't be done so ham-fistedly to where people will use it as their own tools for propaganda. Like there needs to be some nuance to it. It needs to actually flow within the story itself. It needs to fit. Like you can't put a square peg into a round hole. You can't just inject politics into any story. It it doesn't always fit.
All right, next question. Nick White wants to know thoughts on a rumored new Batman Arkham game to be announced. Um, and we're also lucky that we have Dairy Queen. He does not. So that's a bummer for him. As for Arkham, I'd be interested in if it's a game about Batman or if it's just in the universe. That's the real kicker. But if it's being developed by Rocksteady, I'm all over it, man. I love those games.
Who developed Arkham Origins?
WB Montreal.
Would you be willing to take a new Arkham game from them?
No, because the Origins wasn't bad at all, but the handheld game they did sucked ass.
Hmm, fair enough.
What else we got? Let's see here. How would you write the story to a Spider-Man 2099 game? This is from Crystal Wing. Without Peter Parker or anyone affiliated with present-day Marvel Universe making an appearance outside of references. It's easy. I would write a story about Spider-Man 2099 without anything with current-day Marvel. Like, there's a rich enough story in Spider-Man 2099 for me to make a video game out of it. That universe is awesome. So, yeah, that's basically it.
I'm not as well. Would it be just a Spider-Man 2099 game, or would it be, um, or would it feature other elements of Marvel 2099?
I would just do Spider-Man, to be honest with you. I'm more interested in the way that Miguel O'Hara, moves about the universe, and it would basically the way I would basically do it is I would basically use that to do a corporate espionage story.
Ooh, interesting.
Because that's basically what the story, like a lot of the 2099 stuff is like anti-corporatism.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that Doom 2099 almost seems like pro-fascism in some ways, and I'm like, what the fuck? So, yeah, that's how I would do it. It's just like don't, that's my general thought. It's like you don't have to incorporate these elements at all. Just don't do it. It's just it's not questions, and I don't mean to insult the person who asked the question. It's just, when it comes to like how would you not, it's just you just don't do it. That's really all there is to it. It's not like you need to incorporate things from mainstream Marvel to make 2099 interesting. That was Dan Slott's mistake. The universe can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Swordsman 100 asks, how would I write a MCU Spidey crossover with Sony Venom? I've answered this one before, so I'm just going to make it brief. I would base it on Amazing Spider-Man 361 through 363. If you haven't read those, it's one of the best Spider-Man arcs ever. It's only 3 issues long.
There you go.
One thing I need to mention, Hardboiled, I know you're asking me that a lot. I didn't see Far From Home. I can't answer that question. I don't know how it ended.
I haven't seen Far From Home either, but I know how Far From Home ends.
Yeah, so I don't know. Um, Matchstick wants to know what's the sci-fi universe that has the most realistic future aside from the Forerunner stuff. My personal choice would be Halo, 1984,
Yeah.
or Brave New World. And yes, both of those are considered science fiction books.
Yeah.
Either that or Ender's Game.
Mm.
I think those are probably the most likely. I think if we ever meet an alien race, we're going to spend all of our time fucking it up, and then we're finally going to realize, hey, wait a minute, this might not have been completely hostile from the get-go.
Mm. I think Ready Player One would be almost a certainty.
Never read it, so I can't really say.
Well, the movie specifically, not the book, because I hadn't read the book either. But the whole idea of like basically the internet becoming Second Life, and Second Life being way, way, way fucking better.
Hmm.
I feel like that's just inevitable at this point.
What else we got here? I know you don't really care for George Lucas, but thoughts on him condemning Disney Star Wars? Don't consider that a win. George
Ooh.
Lucas was fucking up Star Wars long before everybody else started fucking up Star Wars.
George Lucas's problem is he needs someone to hold him back. When he is allowed to go ham on Star Wars just on his own, he doesn't know how to keep it not so much grounded, but he doesn't know how to keep it from going off into elements. Just Star Wars was saved in the edit. Return of the Jedi suffered because Gary Kurtz left midway through. And the reason why Empire Strikes Back was so good is because George Lucas was just, the story writer. The prequels ended up being as bad as they were because George Lucas was unchained, and Rick McCallum was a yes man. He's okay as a consultant, but beyond that, I wouldn't use him anymore. I appreciate the world that he created, the universe that he created, the galaxy, if you will. I appreciate all that, but there is such thing as going too far. Now, as for the answer to your question, Disney doing him dirty is just expected, honestly. Like, yeah, he didn't like The Force Awakens because it didn't do anything new. It was a rehash, and it didn't have any technological leaps or anything. Whatever. I liked it, and I feel like now that it's cool to hate it, most of the people who did like it kind of hate it. But I don't think that in turn justifies the prequel, or not really justifies prequels, but I don't think it lends any sort of positivity to the prequels. If anything, it just shows that, yeah, you kind of need someone else to do Star Wars, even if they're doing Star Wars in a fucked up way.
Yeah, let's say you could tell me all day about Rose Tico, but I never forgot Jar Jar Binks either. So let's not
The key
consider,
to all of this.
like, the original trilogy is great because, in my opinion, because George Lucas only directed one of them.
Yeah.
The best one of the three, Empires, directed by Irvin Kershner, the guy who did RoboCop
Yes.
2, which was also pretty good.
RoboCop 2 could have been way better, but
Yeah.
it was not bad.
If they had followed Frank Miller's original script, I think it would have been a lot better.
I think so.
But for those of you who don't know, you can actually read the Frank Miller RoboCop script because it did get greenlit as a comic.
It seemed like they were doing that up until the halfway point of the movie.
Yep. But no, it's like, oh yeah, George Lucas, fandom menace, da da da. It's like, guys, that's not a win. It's not a win. At all. You know,
Yep.
like, you're like, between Jar Jar Binks and Hayden Christensen, I have a hard time watching the prequels. And by the way, I would say that The Last Jedi is only partially worse than Attack of the Clones. And literally the only redeeming point of both of those films is the lightsaber fights. Because the fight after Snoke dies is actually pretty well choreographed. It's the only good part of the movie. And then when you look at Attack of the Clones, the only good part of the movie is the fight between Yoda and Count Dooku. Like,
Even if
people tend to forget how fucking bad Attack of the Clones is.
Drops his shit.
Like, it's just bad. Like, both of those films suck ass. Revenge of the Sith could have been good if Hayden Christensen wasn't playing Anakin Skywalker. It could have been very good if
It's actually kind of weird that you say that, because
what? Hatman.
What?
It's funny I say that because what?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Oh, about I guess I got a really bad delay or something. About the Yoda and Dooku scene. It's funny that you say that's one of the best parts of the movie, because a ton of people that I know say that is the worst part, because it turned Yoda into an action hero where he was supposed to be literally everything but.
How the fuck did they think he became a Jedi Master? By being a philosopher? Come on.
Well, it's the whole, wars not make one great comment from Empire, that they're like, he was a Force user. He did not have to resort to, being a duelist the whole time.
He's
especially
800 years old.
The place.
Like, the only way that a Jedi survives that long is by learning how to become a swordsman, or they stay in the library all day.
Yeah, that's true. The archives.
For God's sake, like the silly, like, I don't. Oh wow!
Look, I like that part of the movie.
People are losing their fucking minds that I said that the lightsaber battle in The Last Jedi was good. Chill the fuck out, guys. It's only a movie.
It was good.
Yeah, it was actually
the only thing that they fucked up in there was this stupid Praetorian guard. Like, one of them drops his fucking axe.
Yeah, he completely loses it. Like, that's a really bad editing gaffe.
Yes.
But that is the only part of that movie that I would say is is pretty good.
No, I would go one further, and I would say the Falcon chase through the Crystal Caves on Crate is good. But I'll admit I'm probably biased because you also got the TIE Fighter assault music playing the whole time.
Yeah.
And I am very nostalgic for that shit.
I'm just always tickled by this. It's like every once in a while you say something that people are like, that people disagree with. Like, you are an idiot for disagreeing with me on thing. Go outside, interact with a real human being, see a therapist. Jesus Christ.
Last Jedi was bad, but it has
I'm not
some
saying
good
the
parts.
movie's good, for fuck's
No.
sake.
No, we hate it. We do not like it. We've said that plenty of times. We do not think it is a good movie. But it has some good parts to it.
And I'm not strawmanning either. People are literally freaking out. I'm not saying that it's even that good of a fight scene. I'm saying it's the best part of that movie. Jesus Christ.
I mean, if y'all want to look at it a different way, when the bar is on the ground, it's not hard to surpass it.
Pretty much. And not to mention, like, that's not a good thing if, like, the only good part of your movie is a sword fight. Unless it's a movie about sword fight.
Yeah. Well, that was like a short sequence anyway, and interspersed with the longest fucking execution scene ever. Jesus Christ. See, now I'm thinking about all the bad parts of The Last Jedi, and now I'm getting mad.
And yeah, so like people are in the chat like nobody freaked out. Guys, immediately 5 people called me an idiot for saying that. Come on. The internet is a weird place, honestly.
It can be. It can be.
All right, let's go ahead and bring this to a close. So if you didn't get your question answered during the course of the Q&A, go ahead and put it in the chat for the mods to go ahead and pick up, so we can go ahead and
I guess if Hardboiled is still there, then
he is
take the question. Okay.
So yeah, and he'll pick those up for us, so we can go ahead and get those answered for you. So we will go ahead and go from there. I think I've kind of had enough of the internet for today. It's like
yeah. I do want to say one thing before we go, though. I'm not there yet, but the reason why we started the podcast early was so I could welcome my grandmother back home, because she's coming home from the hospital today. And I'm just about there. She's supposed to get back in at 7 o'clock, and obviously I've missed my window at this point. But I just wanted to thank you guys, because I know y'all have been praying and sending your well wishes, and I just want to thank you guys again for all the prayers and the kind thoughts. It's really meant a lot, and I'll be honest, I did not think that she was going to make it. At times, I thought, oh God, congestive heart failure, kidney failure, that she's toast. She's not going to be around much longer. But God works in mysterious ways, and I'm glad that He does. I'm very, very glad that He does. So, I get to see her again tonight, and she will finally be back home where she's wanted to be for the last 2 months now. She's been in the hospital for 2 months. So, just thank you guys again for being awesome, and for all that you do.
Yep. And also thank you. Sadly, we didn't hit goal. It is what it is. What we did get, I can still get a little bit of something for Preston. I'm a little bit bummed out, but I think more so the reason I'm bummed out is I am flat broke, and I honestly wish that I could just take care of my friends by myself, but I'm not there yet, obviously. So my own failure, which is story of my life. So we're gonna go ahead.
Someday.
Maybe that, or I'll get hit by a bus. But as it stands,
collect the insurance money.
Yeah. Yeah. If I get hit by a bus, at least my sister gets my life insurance. So there's that at least. Then I'll finally be worth something. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take off. If you do watch the replay, I'm gonna leave it up for 24 hours. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to help out that way. If not, it is what it is. Just gotta roll with the punches, I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and take off. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and thank you guys again.
Yep. We'll see you guys next time. Deus Vult.
Deus Vult.